This is a tutorial on how to do a ribbon letter drawing like this one. So you're going to start out with your blank piece of paper, and the first things you'll do will be to decide what letters or word you want to do and to practice it several times so you get the hang of it and you know your layout. So at this point, assume I've done that. I've also created a tool like this using two normal pencils, so an HB if you're using drawing pencils or a number 2 pencil, and then they're taped together with another pencil in between, and then I've got just another normal pencil that I can continue to draw with, and of course I have an eraser or two. Alright, so the trick to this is to always keep the pencil points facing in the same direction. Alright. So I've practiced this. I'm going to try to do it the same way I did in my example. Oh, that's right, I started here. All right. So again, I've practiced this several times. So doing the word peace. All right, so I've got my P, and then adding my E, my A, C, E, and then, ooh, I forgot exactly how I did it before, but I created some curly cues, so this time my curly cues will just look a little different. All right, so I went a little bit off script, but I got my basic word in, and my curly cues will just be a little bit of a different pattern. You don't have to add as much of that ribbon, extra ribbon. It's just whatever you want to do to create a pleasing composition where you've balanced out the space. All right, so now we have to start transforming this into something that's going to give us the illusion of a 3D ribbon. All right, so we're going to look for places where you've got just 2 points, and you're going to connect those. All right, and that's just going to end the ribbon. All right, you're also going to look for a place like this where, and this might be hard to see, but we've got a point and a point. So I went up and then basically back down. So I'm going to try to zoom in on this. So again, it's a little bit hard to see, but I've got a point there and a point there. I'm also going to connect those. All right, and I've got a similar thing over here. So connecting those. All right, and I might have missed a few, so I'll continue to look as I go. We're now going to connect anywhere where we see 2 hills or loops. So I've got a curve here and a curve there. So anywhere where I have that, I'm going to connect that. And now we're going to start to make some choices and erase. So this is going to create a ribbon that circles, and then part of it comes this way and up. So I have to decide what part of the ribbon is in front and what part of it is in back. So if I want to make the same choices as I did the first time around, I have this top part of the ribbon being on top. And this is really up to you. So you could make different choices than I would. So to do that, I've got a little bit of the line right here that I'm going to erase. So I'm going to make this a little darker so you can see what's happening. So after I erase that little bit, of line that was right there, now we've got this part of the loop, this part, looking like it's in front and this part is in back. So this other part of the ribbon would still be back there, but you can't see it because this part of the ribbon is on top. So we're going to keep going eventually and make lots of choices like that. So again, here we've got one part of the ribbon going behind and another part going on top, but we get to decide which is which. So if we want this part of the ribbon on top, then I would erase where this part crosses. So by erasing it, now we're creating the illusion that it's going behind. And if you erase a little too much, you can come back in and make sure these other lines are still nice and solid. Okay, so back to looking for these areas where we've got two hills. So here's an area where we've got this hill and another hill. So again, I'm going to connect them, and I get to decide which part is in front and which part is in back. So I connected right there. If I want this part to be in front, then I erase that. And now that part is going to be in front. All right, now over here it's not as obvious, but where this gets really skinny, we can see this is a little hump and this one is a little hump. So if it's getting really skinny like this, look for the two kind of hills next to it. So again, I can just connect those, and then can barely even see that little line anymore, but it's there and I can erase it. So there are some other places here. Now that we're getting a hang of this, we can also see, okay, two sections cross. So again, I'm going to erase the part that I want to go behind. So that then made this loop that I did off of the uppercase P, that now is going to come in front. So you'll want to make sure you go through and really touch this up and make it really neat. So that might take a couple of passes to create that illusion. We need that to be really precise. All right, so same thing here. I just make a choice, and because of the choice that I made, now this part of the ribbon comes in front of this part of the ribbon. And I'm just going to continue like that all around. So again, we've got two hills, connect, make a choice, erase. Here's another place. I'm going to make a choice and erase. Here's another place. Now here it got really skinny, so again, I can say this is a hump and another hump, and I can connect them. Okay. And then there'd be a little tiny line in here. So we've got this twisting here, and we're just kind of seeing the very little like edge of the ribbon there. All right, and I can make that go in front if I want by erasing there and erasing there. So some of this is hard to see, but hopefully you get the kind of basic idea. So I would keep doing that through this entire thing. In a place like this, it does get kind of confusing. Oh, and I just realized I forgot to connect this and this. So we connect those 2 points. So you want to go little bit by little bit. All right, but if I follow this, so this gets confusing here, but I can see, okay, if I'm doing an A, first I go up, and then I come back down. All right, so then I can see, all right, I've got a hump and a hump here that can be connected, and I'll make the choice to have that come in front. All right, and then that means in here, I've got another section, and I think I'm seeing what comes in front of what. All right. And so basically we have the ribbon overlapping itself. So this part of the ribbon, this twists, and it went in front of this back part of the ribbon back here. That was when I was going up the first time. Again, we've got this overlapping itself. So we've got this skinny part, so I can kind of see, okay, I've kind of got a bump and a bump there. Okay, but if I want that to go behind, then I would erase this part. All right, so at some point in here, you're probably starting to get the idea. Some of these areas that are a little confusing, maybe you're going to need help with, and that's fine. But when you're ready, you can start this process on your own. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going with this. I'm not going to narrate as much, but I'm continuing to find areas where it gets skinny, and you've got those two loops. Connect, and then erase, and that's going to determine what comes in front. So other areas, I'll just see, okay, there are two things overlapping here, so again, I'm erasing some of that to make a choice about what's in front and what's in back. So any little bits of cleanup or touching up you need to do, you can do that as part of this process as well. Again, got those two sort of bumps there, connect, erase. All right, so following this round, we come back out. Okay, so again, we've got two things. I got to decide what's in front and what's in back. I also have this over here. So I'm going to first connect these. And erase there. Connect those. And I'm going to continue following this. Right, so that goes right off the page. This gets, a little wonky, so I can go back in and kind of make that a little smoother. I'm going to follow this down, follow this. Connect there. All right, and I think I've done the whole thing. I'm going to double check this. So starting here, I just follow the loop, just checking that I got everything, coming back up here. So just kind of almost imagining I'm writing it again, so that as I do that, I can check that I did all the little touch-ups that I needed. Just looking, but following everything closely as I look. And I basically have that. So now I would be ready to shade, and that will be the next video.